I can't even dance.
Nice.
Oh, knock that one off. I mean, it looks good if you're on social media. However, it was on point. Welcome in to Bridging Civil Tension. This is the show where we take tension that is civil, somewhat, and we like to build bridges. And we believe that if you build a bridge, and it's better than blowing a bridge up. Right. This is Phil Wallace, author, entrepreneur, coach, mentor, owns a clothing company, and he plays the part of an African American on this show.
Friends with this guy. That's my favorite title.
Friends with the CEO of 216 The Net. And of course, I'm Kent Jones. I am owner, founder, and CEO of DDOE Enterprises, which is the mother company for 216 The Net. And I play the part of an old white guy on the show.
Father-in-law, dude.
Soon to be father-in-law, right?
Congratulations.
SG3, our guy. How are you, brother? Of course, Sal, one of the great co-hosts of the Reject Rundown. You can find every Sunday night right here at 216 The Net, and at 9 p.m. Great stuff.
I wonder if they're going to cover the Brett Favre thing.
The Brett Favre thing. I don't. Oh, I didn't hear. So maybe I'm sure they will. They cover those hot topics. You're going to see behind me, right over my right shoulder, your left, if you're looking at your screen. We just got done with a great show with a bunch of Olympian athletes and X Game athletes, Nick Baumgartner and Louis Vito, and we're just promoting the usasa.org today. We're trying to help them raise some money. They got their third golf outing, but this helps young Americans, compete and chase their dreams to be Olympic athletes and represent the United States.
Awesome. And you guys talked about how we don't fund our.
Yeah, we're the only country who doesn't fund our quote unquote amateur athletes. So a lot of other countries would say, hey, okay, Phil, you're going to be representing us in snowboarding. So we want you to quit your job. We're going to pay you $35,000, take care of this, and this.
Right.
Where like Nick Baumgartner, who's 40 now, he's been in four Olympics, and his full-time job, he lays concrete. He's a construction worker to help fund his dream.
To be an Olympic athlete.
Just to be an Olympic athlete, to represent your country. So, and now there's pro athletes in the Olympics. So I'm like, I don't understand why the United States, here's what we would rather do. We would rather worry about, Key Largo or whatever, and papers and things like that, then go, hey, you know what? You have a dream. America is the land of the free and the home where dreams go. Yeah. Let's help you achieve that dream.
You're going to represent us globally.
Instead, we'd rather say, I don't know, let's string the orange man up and act like a piñata. Let's go.
I need you to work first shift this week so you can get to Beijing.
Right. What? I'm going to need some time off. I've got worlds. Well, we can't really. You're out of your personal time.
The dude Justin Gatlin, he ran against Usain Bolt. He's from Pensacola.
Yeah,
95.
So it's crazy. So I work 9 to 5, and then I got to go chase my dream. All right, fair enough. So you got some stuff, and that's what we're talking about today. As well, and then there's this also.
There's this also. So got into TikTok. Let's start this over.
Tyler. He's a white Christian nationalist who's running for Congress in Tennessee. And this one has no bones about showing his racism. He literally put this sign up.
So the sign says, "Make America White Again."
Yeah.
And then when I went to his website, I don't recommend, he also talks about these things. Before I play it, this trigger warning. So
huge trigger warning.
I love the ascot.
Like terrible racism. See, at some point, the white race must unite in solidarity and fight for its very security and survival. We are rapidly running out of places to which we can retreat. And in case you haven't noticed, non-whites are not overly adept, kind, or benevolent when either through affirmative action or outright capitulation on the part of whites, such as in South Africa, they gain the upper hand. Typically, white genocide will wind up being the natural outgrowth of such a tragedy. So white genocide. If you are white and you hear...
You want to break that first part?
Cut.
So his name is Rick Tyler. He's running for Congress in Tennessee. He's got a website with thousands of followers who think this guy is a genius. Non-whites are violent, not polite. Because I'm watching individuals get upset that Ariel is no longer Caucasian, and then I'm hearing this guy say that we're the angry ones. So I'm just trying to make things make sense because the math is not mathing.
So Alice and I started watching on Netflix. I think it's on Netflix. Aquarius.
Okay.
It's got what's his name? Michael Duchovny from the X-Files.
Okay.
And it's a fictional, and I'm using air quotes, fictional story about Charles Manson. True events. They've changed some characters, quote unquote. True events. So this is back, I'm going to guess 70s, 60s, 70s. I don't know. Age of Aquarius. So late 60s, 70s, I would guess. Judging from the type of cars that are on this show, late 60s. Whenever Charles Manson was probably in his 20s or whatever, right? And Michael Duchovny is a detective. And they go to a neighborhood. This is a murder, and it's a white lady who's been bludgeoned to death, and her husband starts talking about how the African Americans doesn't call them that at all. They use 60s and 70s vernacular for this, right?
The words
jigaboo and so and it's uncomfortable for me to even say, and it just you just sort of like
just glitch.
And
2 syllables.
How these guys people came in and took over, and so Michael Duchovny knows that he's in the house talking with the husband who he knows killed the wife. Across the street is his partner talking with one of the neighbors, and beautiful black lady, and she's like, nope, his car was there all day. He was out, right? And then the partner comes back, and he's like, listen, we have to talk. And he goes, oh, okay, yep. And while he's across the street talking, this guy comes up. They call him Bunchy or something, and he comes up. And he's from the Nation of Islam. And so he says, this interview is over to the cop, and just a great, strong personality. And so the partner walks back across the street to the murder house. And then Duchovny goes, oh, yeah, you got a witness? Yeah, okay. And literally walks across the street and says, hey, Bunchy, you're under arrest. Puts this guy who doesn't even live in the neighborhood. I don't know. Right. Puts this guy in handcuffs, throws him in the back of the car, takes him downtown. Knows. Holds this guy, and I just sit there and I'm like, well, this is like we talked about from the guy from Minnesota who's like, no, this is why we run.
Right.
And so you just sit here and you're like, oh my gosh. And that's the way it is. This guy, it reminds me of a throwback to the 60s with what he's saying, how he's saying it. And to have followers
Thousands.
What?
Thousands. Now, the thing is, these thousands, whatever field they are, they have careers.
Yeah.
They're making the decisions over the lives of other people. They might swear up and down they're not racist, but they're in fear of their
right. So
supremacy numbers dwindling.
So if he's representing a political side, right? We heard the word conservative in there.
Well, it's a letter, but we don't have to. We don't
do that. If you are any part of that letter, you have to go. Listen, you can't. Sorry, bud, you're not going to represent us with this. And if you're quiet, if you don't address it, you bless it.
So this is where, and we've had this conversation about letters, right?
Yeah.
Where when I see that and it's connected to that letter, I'm questioning if I don't support that letter.
Right.
But I'm seeing this from that letter, and I'm seeing other representatives of that letter not correct this member of that letter, that we don't stand for this.
Well, are you not seeing it, or is it not being fed to you?
Both.
Right.
Because I feel like if there was an outcry for like it would stop, like let's stop this, it's not okay, I feel like it would get fed to me. I feel like people would call this person out and like just as far as like the TV show that they're talking about, right? Where we're going to call this guy out for doing something that we don't agree on. I feel like for the running, that same rules would apply. So, hey, listen, if you're choosing between me and this other person with my same letter, just know that this guy said that. I feel like that would come out.
And if you are the governor of Tennessee or whatever, why aren't you like, this is not what our state stands for. This is not who we are.
It's Tennessee.
Right? Well, it's America. It's not just in Tennessee.
Right.
Okay. So, but to your point, where is the person running against him? We don't see that.
Right.
This is wrong. This is not who we are. Right? This is who you are.
So remember we talked about after the Buffalo shooting, after the school shooting, I said a lot of these things that are coming out is the fear of numbers dwindling.
Yeah.
When we talked about Our Father, the show on Netflix where the guy was inseminating the fraternity flag. Here's another situation where due to the fear of numbers dwindling, he's trying to get an uproar and a following of people who are willing to fight to protect the great white race.
Yeah.
People saying dumb shit like this, you need to stop them. We have to stop this. All right, so this guy goes on.
We have gone from an 85% supermajority in America to a dwindling 60%. Indeed, the future appears grim for that great and noble Caucasian race, which has been so blessed and favored by Almighty God. He may yet save us, but only if we are willing to fight.
I don't even have the words for this crap.
I know.
But he's right. We need to fight against him.
Yeah.
So
and it's right there. Now this is a guy who probably runs newspaper ads, campaign, putting signs in yards,
the sign said "Make America White Again."
Make America white again. That's right. That's what it said.
I'm sincerely trying to come at this from a neutral position, right? The slogan sounds a lot like the hat. If I'm just observing.
Well, yeah, but if you're marketing and there was a good campaign out there,
right?
You
and that happens a lot, right? Where I'm gonna say something similar to the campaign that's already popular.
Yeah.
I would look for this campaign that's popular to say, nah, don't associate with us because this is not our message.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Right. We don't agree with that. That's not what we're trying to stand for. You're going to get bad.
Right.
Signals are going to get crossed. We don't need that.
Right.
And we're asking the same question. Where's the correction of people saying this is not what we stand for? Because like I get on the black side, I get asked why.
Right. Because what's going to happen now is the only people who are going to stand up are the non-white people, right, and say this is wrong.
Right.
Except this old white guy, it's wrong. I'm telling you, it's wrong.
Right.
And that's the frustration, and that is America.
Right.
Like it or not,
Right.
that is America. And I will say, I stick my head in the sand as a white guy. I don't believe in that. Head in the sand.
Right.
And if I'm silent, it'll go away. And it doesn't. It's 2022 for crying out loud, right? And this guy is taking us back to 1822.
Got to fight to protect the almighty. It's been loved so much by the almighty, the Caucasian race.
Right?
So, okay, as a, I'm saying this jokingly, as a member of the Teddy Bear Crips,
Yeah.
I'm told that every time I wear blue, I represent that,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
And I should be profiled because of the things that the members of the TBC take activity in.
Yeah.
However, if a person is wearing that hat, if a person has that letter,
Yep.
we're not allowed to say, well, other members of that group say these things.
Right.
So you fit the description of a racist.
Right.
So how is it I can fit the description of a thug despite what I wear, how I talk, how I carry myself? However, if a person wants to align themselves with a group that continuously, that's what is shown on the public side, whether that's how they all feel or not.
Yeah. Well,
How do we get it so that that's not okay? If this is not okay, that should not be okay. Not even the debate as far as like, does these letters feel this way? I'm just saying, if these gang members get me profiled, why don't the bad ones on this side?
well, here's why, because that is not what we're being programmed for. Okay, so understand what I'm going to say here is that a lot of the laws that are in place were put in place by white people. A lot of the a lot of the people who are in power still today are part of the systemic racism that we've had.
Right.
And because they have a certain letter behind their name, they are no longer considered that, because the narrative and what the agenda of whoever,
Right.
the puppet master, whoever that is, says, okay, now this letter is that.
Right.
Okay. And that's why you get the stupid things that are like, well, Lincoln was this letter.
Right.
And he, shut up.
But it's known that they anyway.
Right.
Right.
So, having coffee this morning with a bunch of guys for churches I do every Friday morning, we were talking about the influx of people from Mexico.
Nice.
Right. And South America, actually, because there's a lot coming from El Salvador and places like that. And how the governor of Texas is like, no, we'll send you to the sanctuary cities. Right. And now they're showing up, and they show up in places like Chicago, and the Chicago mayor goes, ha, not here. We'll send them to Burr Ridge. Okay.
Right.
And then so it's putting a stress on everything. And I said the unfortunate thing is we aren't looking at this as a humane situation. We're looking at this as a political situation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the blame the R's, blame the D's, blame the R's, blame the D's. That you want it, here you go. And now people are like, whoa, this is a strain on our sanctuary city. Aha, it's a strain on my state. We have to take care of it. Instead of saying, okay, how do we help people who are in very, very bad situation because of drug cartels and things of that nature, living that want to come to America for the American dream? How do we help these people and create a way for them to be legal?
Right.
Instead, I'm going to be like, you know what, Phil, you're a D, I'm an R. It's your fault. It's your your fault. I must. You know what? I don't. And so now we're using human beings as pawns for what? An election. That's it. Right. So whoever is the puppet master in America is, a lot of people are coming across the border because of the drug cartels and things like that. And
Mm-hmm.
and I will say that if America wanted, we can go find a man in a hole in a desert if we wanted to correct and help a country that is being overrun by drug cartels, we probably could.
I don't want to smoke with that situation, but I hear what you're saying.
We probably could. Same thing with the race issues. If we wanted to, and I think there's more people who are like you and I
Right.
than there are not. If we wanted to, we could fix this.
Well, same thing I told you, though, when you asked about the show. When we were talking about doing the show, I said, if we get too big, I'm out.
Right.
The people who are like us, who know that we could, know what happens if you start to talk too much on this topic.
Well, yeah, I mean, you
end up next to a doorknob. You suicided yourself.
Right. That's right.
And I'm not going to be a part of that.
No, correct. And that's, and that is that, and that's the scary thing.
Right.
It's the same thing with, you want to talk about tension is well, go become a member if you're listening. Go out to our website, to Facebook, the Bridge community.
Yeah.
And a young lady in Iowa was human trafficked, fought for her life, ended up stabbing to death the person who was kidnapping her. Okay? The family of the trafficker takes her to court in Iowa. And Iowa, I don't know if it's a district court, Supreme Court, I don't know what it was. Told this young lady who was being human trafficked, a victim of human trafficking, that she has to pay the family $150,000 for killing that person. Now, this is an African-American lady, beautiful young lady, right? And I'm like, wait, what? How does that work? So, in other words, I would lean in and go, okay, somebody's on the payroll. Somebody's name's on a flight list. Somebody's name's in a black book.
So, and this happened, and I was asked this question about this issue. So she can't defend herself against the person who is sex trafficking her and kidnapping her.
Kidnapping her.
And then the question was, then explain the Trayvon Martin situation. Because Zimmerman was allowed to kill a little kid in the name of self-defense, and I understand Florida's got different rules than Iowa. I get that for those of you who are in a mental state, I'll say this, in a mental state to where you'll still try to justify that situation. If that's where you are, that's fine.
Right.
But he followed a little kid and killed him in the name of self-defense. Got away scot-free, and now he signs Skittles bags on tour in Arizona cans. However, this young lady cannot defend herself to the person who's sex trafficking her without having to pay $150,000 for taking out a sex trafficker. Because what you don't understand is if she just punches him and he lives, he's going to kidnap another kid.
Yeah. Always.
So she took out a pedophile.
Yeah.
And now she's paying the consequences. There's no self-defense in that situation.
Right.
Only one is Florida for the guy who signs Arizona teas and Skittles bags after killing a little black kid.
Yeah.
And we're asking people to make it make sense. How, because the girl is, I don't know what color
don't know.
But I know she was a young black female who ended up stabbing her kidnapper. And if that's not self-defense, I don't know what is.
Right.
If I trespass, it's self-defense. If I broke into your home, that would be self-defense. But if you're getting kidnapped for sex trafficking, you don't have the right to defend yourself.
Right. Now, and I want you to keep in mind that there are a ton of, and I'm trying to find it. There are a ton. So the total in 2019, the total number of missing children entries into the FBI's National Crime Information Center system was 421,394.
421,000.
Right.
That's a lot higher than Chicago murders.
In 2020, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children helped law enforcement, families, and child welfare with 29,782 cases of missing children. Okay. The recovery rate in high-risk cases for missing children is good. They don't necessarily give a percentage, but we stopped one. She stopped one, fought for her life, took a life. How many more children did she save by that? By fighting for her own life, okay? And the legal system in Iowa says,
Nah.
we enjoy missing children. So you're going to pay this family $150,000. All right. How many children did this one particular trafficker take? Now, let's go back. I don't know the race of the trafficker. I don't know the age of the trafficker.
But it is Iowa.
Would it have? Yeah, let's understand. Would it have been? Would Julie Smith have the same outcome as Shaniqua did?
I don't
in the state of Iowa in that court.
No, I haven't seen. I mean, where there's the cop who broke into the wrong apartment, the girl in Miami who was out having cocktails after she stabbed her boyfriend. I'm not seeing.
There's not a well, there is a pattern.
There
is a pattern.
Aha.
Right.
But I'm trying to do this from the lens of it's not about race. Right. I'm just not seeing where a person, Emily Elizabeth, is not going to jail for killing her kidnapper or killing someone that, even if she broke into their house and thought that her life was in danger, she's away scot-free.
Yeah.
So I'm not seeing the consequence.
Yeah. And Alex says, hey, Kent, we got a lot of good people on both sides, quote unquote. Right. But if you're a good person, if I am running under the same flag or lapel pin as this gentleman in Tennessee, even if I live in Maine, I would be like, listen, this is not what this is about. I don't back this. This guy needs to, step down. Don't represent my lapel pin.
And this is where I feel, again, trying to say this from a neutral position, it would soothe minority supporters of this letter to see that from that letter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just as far as like, if when me and you sat down, I said, I agree with this.
Yeah.
It's just this that is just, I can't because of this.
Right.
And then you're like, okay, we'll regroup, whatever. And hey, this is where we don't tolerate this.
Right.
Cool.
And
I start kind of inching. I'm not on either one, but
now the young lady who posted this on social media is a white lady. She appeared white.
Which one? Oh, the one for Rick Tyler. Yes.
Yeah.
The one for Rick Tyler.
And she kind of ends by saying, we have to start standing up and saying something that this isn't right.
And if you hear people saying dumb stuff like this, stop it.
Stop it. Yeah.
Because we have that conversation where, like, behind closed doors,
we
laugh, we agree with, this is not even remotely intelligent.
Stop
it. Please.
Stop.
Do something else. Hold your breath and count to infinity. But don't keep perpetuating.
You know the show New Girl.
Yeah, I heard of it.
And coaches Damon Wayans Jr., I think.
Nice.
Wayans Jr. And so he doesn't know how to talk to women. It's his character, right? And so there's one episode where he's ladies start saying something. He's like, stop it. That's all he says. And they scares the ladies like,
yes,
it is hilarious. That's what we need to do. Right. And just stop it. Don't say it. Don't let it come out of your mouth. Stop it. And that's what has to happen. However, if I'm hanging out with my buddy Scott, and I'm going to pick on Scott, we were just on a show. If I say something off color, off comment, he may laugh with it and go, "Hey, all right, yeah, no kidding. Hey, let me tell you that." Instead of going, "Deke, you shut it. No, stop.
Right.
Don't. Not around me. Just stop."
Right.
Right. And I think a lot of people have a desire, Phil, to be accepted, to be wanted, to feel liked, that they're afraid to take that stance. Now, if you are a good friend with somebody, you stop it.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
But so, in book after book, research after research, they'll talk about how, kids get in gangs for acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And what do gangs do? They rob people, sell drugs, do a lot of bad things.
Bad
what
things.
I'm told. Right.
Yeah.
And we never show sympathy to the young kid whose mom is working 3 jobs, dad is not there, and this is where he just gets acceptance from. We don't look at it from that. So, this is just for acceptance. So it's very hard for me to have compassion that Tom will let John say the N-word for acceptance, and I have to be cool with it.
Yeah.
Or that we'll allow someone to keep talking like this, and I just didn't want to, I wanted to fit in on my golf outing. The hell with your golf outing, right? Like, they'll find another fourth.
Yeah.
But it won't be, because I don't, I don't let any of my relatives say anything like, nah.
Yeah, so let's go to a worldwide symbol,
Okay,
and say the swastika.
I like this one.
Okay, white folk will go no,
Openly, no.
openly, no. Did you erase that? That is a symbol of hatred. Millions of white people died for that.
I got a fun twist with this one.
Yeah.
No, go for it. Keep going.
And so we're not afraid to stand up to anybody and go, wrong.
Right.
You see somebody with it tattooed on their body, you go,
This
I'm going to keep my
skinhead.
distance.
Right.
That's what white folk do. I'm going to keep my distance. Okay. However, if I don't have that tattooed on my body and Phil has it tattooed on his body, I'm guilty by association. I'm saying it's okay.
Right.
I would love you to show your hatred. It's
Yeah.
nice. It's nice. Let's go tie somebody to the bumper.
Yeah. I want you to feel comfortable. Let's go scare some Jewish people. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
it would never be okay.
Never
Now,
be okay.
here's the part that gets interesting / frustrating about that.
Yeah.
Is the swastika, when it's pointed in the other direction, means peace.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So they flipped it this way, I guess, as a symbol of hate, right?
Yeah.
So if I have the peace version of the swastika, you don't know that's what that means.
No,
it just looks close enough
Right.
to the bad thing
Yeah.
where there's zero tolerance. Right? It looks like a symbol of hate. If it can get confused
Right.
for a symbol of hate, then it doesn't need to be it doesn't need to be tattooed, Phil. End of discussion. However, that Confederate flag that you have up there, you've been defending that tooth and nail for quite some time. That could also be confused as a symbol of hate, yet your compassion, your sympathy, goes out the window.
Yeah.
If it's a Holocaust
Yeah.
on a different country, not even your own brethren or countrymen, you are up in arms.
Yeah.
But the black guy who lives next door to you is telling you that Confederate flag that you're hanging up sends the same message, and you want to talk to me, even though you're from Vernon Hills, about your Southern heritage. None of your family's from. And even if it was, it's Vernon Hills in Iowa. But even if it was, if it can get confused as a symbol of hate, why wave that flag?
Why wave it? I agree.
Why wave it?
And, and understand, I am the guy who grew up in the 80s, the 70s, that absolutely loved Bo and Luke Duke. Absolutely loved the General Lee. And if you parked one in my yard, I would love that thing.
Right.
However, I look at it differently now and understand what that symbol means to a lot of people.
Did you see the movie?
With the newer one, the Dukes of Hazzard?
With Johnny
with
Knoxville and the other person where they were the Dukes.
Yeah.
I think it was Stifler or whatever.
Stifler, yeah.
But
yeah.
they had that car pull up like in the inner city.
Yeah.
And then you realize what's on the top of the hood.
Yes, that was good. Now, if you were to if it was the original, generally it's worth a lot of money. I would leave it alone because it's worth a lot of money, right? If it's a knockoff, I'd probably go get that painted.
Right.
Keep it orange. Keep it bright orange.
I could sell it to a rich racist.
You could. Right. I mean, you could.
I just wouldn't drive it around.
I mean, a 69 Charger is every little kid's dream.
Apparently, there's a congressman who would love it.
Yeah.
I know a guy.
That's in the parade.
It's in the parade.
He's in the boss hog white Cadillac, but out front is the general. And we laugh about it. It's sad. We joke about it a little bit there. But at what point? So we have been fighting this fight since Abraham Lincoln.
Right.
Even before, but it was just Abraham Lincoln who finally said, and really his the reasoning for that was probably for votes, and it was more political than it was. You are just good people, and
he even said that if I could keep the slaves would cause peace within the Confederates, I would. Yeah.
So there's a lot of that. So we've been fighting this fight ever since, for freedom and whatnot. Ever since humans started being trafficked, trafficked. Yeah, traffic. I really had a problem with that.
So, anemone.
And how much longer do we have to continue to fight this fight? Because, like I said, you see, and there are. As long as you have people, you're going to have it. Because there's still people who wear the swastika. I mean, and when you go into a prison, you got to choose a side. I mean, for your life, or just no, good night, nurse, right? So you really have to say that. Why is it for some things we as white Americans go, bad, that's bad, swastika. Bad. But if we were to really count the lives that were lost, perhaps more African American lives have been lost over time than the Holocaust, and that's sad. And what we're finding out too is it's not just here in America, right? You're feeling that for Black people all over the world.
And I've had this conversation this week, just someone having the conversation, more just so looking for clarity, not like an angry debate or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I was like, the thing that is concerning about it is every time I see hatred, that flag isn't far behind.
Right.
Every time you see the angry attack for minorities, whatever, it makes an appearance.
Yeah.
So at what point do we put two and two together? That it's not a peaceful flag.
Right. And if we're the United States of America, that still shows separation,
right?
Because that was the losing flag. Could we say that?
It was a losing flag.
It was a losing,
but it was a flag that wanted to separate themselves from the team.
Right.
So if I point out a discrepancy that I see, we're all one race, Phil. Get over it. Okay, cool. But then you're going to wave the flag that means separation.
And understand if you're not, if you're in the Midwest, if you're in the Northeast, if you're in the mountains, you don't see as prevalent as perhaps the South and the Southeast, where there are companies who fly that instead of the American flag.
It was on the capital of South Carolina when I was in college. You go to Myrtle, every souvenir shop has an assortment that you can choose from.
Yeah.
Of getting better.
Right. Okay. So, and somewhere along the way, it was pride in the South, right? But what is it? What is that? What was that pride?
Right.
Okay.
I could not think of opening a swastika souvenir shop. Bumper stickers, shot glasses, T-shirts,
beach towels.
Beach towels.
Beach towels.
This pan lotion on. Like, what?
Sunbrellas.
Yeah. Got it on the top of my old school Caprice.
Oh, boy. Yeah, right?
Instantly, that'd be horrible. That on the top of a Capitol building?
It would never happen. It's never happened. Right?
It's not even an option.
Right.
But we got to be cool with it.
And that's tough.
So, as we were talking about earlier, we're talking about why aren't we looking into certain situations? There was another situation in Florida. So, Florida's sex trafficking bust led to the arrest of 160 people. One of these members is Cartersville, Georgia Deputy Police Chief Jason DePrima. So, I don't even want to go into the police type of thing. I sincerely don't even want to. However, sometimes we're not investigating the teammates because we know the teammates are the bad guys. We know the teammates and what they're doing. How many people is 160 people? Because here's the thing: if 15 people got shot in Chicago this weekend, we would hear about it. We would hear all 5 of those were kids, Phil. It's out of hand. Okay, 160. Now, we can't kill. We can't defend ourselves against one of them. Then you got to pay a fee for taking. But 160 were found in a ring in this one event, and there were officers involved.
Yeah. So I have to pay $150,000 to a family, and let's imagine, if you would, and this is what I'm saying. This is absolutely made up. I have no idea. This could be a story for a show on Hulu. This is just pretend.
This one's on the house.
Hey, Phil, we're going to need you to kidnap and traffic people here in the state of Idaho.
Okay. Good choice. Good choice.
And in doing so, we're going to give you X amount of money and make sure that your family's taken care of. Mom, dad, brothers. And we got you. We got your back.
Everybody's good.
Okay. Now, don't worry. Deputy Bob, he knows the game.
Mm-hmm.
He knows the game. You're going to be all right. Right? So
your captain knows the game.
We're good. So, oh shit! You got killed by a lady who fought for her life, and now I've got to go back to your family and go. Yeah, we got to. I guess. Is there anybody else want to do what Phil was doing? No. Okay.
No.
But you said you'd take care of us. Okay. Let me make a couple of calls.
To the judge.
Yeah. To perhaps someone who could make a ruling.
Right.
And listen, Your Honor, they're looking for $2.5 million. Oh God, we can't do this for this poor girl. Right. People are going to question me. People are going to, okay. Well, hey, best we can do is $150,000
right now.
And now you're on your own.
So
now again,
hypothetical.
It's hypothetical. It's a make believe. We're just kind of having fun with this.
So for this one, I thought this was interesting. So Florida sex trafficking bust. Out of the 160 people, Georgia Deputy Police Chief.
Yeah.
For those keeping up, those are 2 different states. So what happened was,
you see what had happened.
What had happened was, see, right?
We made it interstate.
Going with what Kent was saying, they knew what was going on.
Yeah.
The Georgia ones didn't. So it was so close to the line, they were just investigating. And son of a gun, is that Kent?
No.
On the stakeout, is that
Jonesy? Hey,
hold on. So they had a female officer solicit, get the number of the Florida officer, and he's text message. Oh, and then last weekend we had more prostitutes, and we were this and this many kids. And officer, he doesn't know that she's an officer, and she's like, "Get your boy. He's violent. He is really So he bought drinks for him, White Claws for her. I can't make this up. This really happened. And on the sting, 160 people. Going with your hypothetical situation,
Hypothetical.
they knew. Just so happened that in the investigation, they got hit in the crossfire.
Yeah.
And they're allowing it to happen.
And they're allowing it to happen. And Alex is right. Thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers.
Of course,
that's
activity.
That's a good soundbite for the media and everybody. Yeah. Oh, it's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. Thoughts and prayers to all those families, at these 160 people. Interesting. It all goes back to, and if you ask, how do we fix this? How do we solve this? It all goes back to right now. It all goes back to my TV stopped working.
Yeah, the battery was low on the laptop.
Oh, I thought I plugged it in. Guess I did. Anyway, it is follow the money, follow the power.
Right.
Okay. And that's where I say I'm enjoying now watching a lot of social media and things where people are starting to question police officers and go, that's not the law. Oh,
have you seen that?
Yes. And they're like, well, go ahead and get your superior here because you can't do that. So people are have learned now and are understanding the law so that this is illegal. You can't just do this. You know, right. And the funny thing is, through Hollywood and through the years, I pull Phil over for no apparent reason other than the color of his skin. And as I'm walking to his car, a baton happens to break a taillight. Oh, you had a taillight out, Phil. Oh, what's that in the back seat?
Right. I got you on camera, bro. I got you on camera.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Right. So yeah. So Alex says, do you think it would be interesting to have a new ratified Constitution and Declaration of Independence and updated version?
I'd be afraid.
Be afraid.
Very afraid. They talk about it. And if you ever watched the documentary on Netflix, The 13th, right? They talk about how the emancipation, but they also talk about how if a certain person has a conviction, they can still be almost like paid slavery, so to speak. I'd be afraid that they would make a loophole like that for the elephant in the room with children. Mm-hmm. If they updated it, I feel like they would try to allow that.
The way that I would answer that is no, absolutely not. Here's what I would say. Let's go back to the way it was written. Right now, we know that it was written at a time where all men are created equal, as long as I take you below the Mason-Dixon line every 5 months, right? But you're not a slave. However, anyway,
Chappelle's Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah. Anyway, if you read that article, the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, it is brilliantly written. What's happened is in America, we've bastardized it. And we've already bent it and twisted it and turned it to fit our own agendas.
Right.
Okay. The Constitution is an incredible piece of paper that, if followed, we should have 5 parties.
It's a brilliant concept.
Yes. But I think if you were to go back to, so let's take January 6th. I think if you were to go back to quote unquote this, the founding fathers, if you were to put them in a room, would go, this is exactly what's supposed to happen. This is for the people, by the people. What they're saying is they're frustrated, right? And again, I don't know how you think you're going to overthrow the government when you have a round trip ticket going back the next day, right?
Right.
So there's a lot to that, and I think that we've allowed the powers, quote, to be. We haven't been boisterous enough. We haven't stood up against the non-swastika stuff. Mm-hmm. Enough as a country. We've allowed things to go way sideways, to not look at another American and go, okay, let's hook arms and how do we make this country better? Instead, I say, let me continue to step on you and hold you down and pull you back.
Right.
And it's my this part of the Constitution, right? You know what I
Right.
mean? Yeah.
And just kind of going with that, like as a country, just on the same sentiment that we would justify this January 6th, but you can't kneel.
All right.
This is voicing your frustration and your American duty. You're allowed to do so. Hey, get up.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Shut up and play basketball.
Just dribble. No.
Just dribble. And until we get out of that mindset, I don't see a lot of changing.
No, you're right. That's why I'm saying we've twisted it and bastardized it and turned it to maintain power.
But do you feel like that's how it was written, though, in order to keep that? Like,
yeah, if you really study it and take a look at it and read through it, it's designed to control, to limit the power of the government.
Right.
Okay. But we've done it. And we've said, okay, no, that's fine. You can stay in there for 50 years. That's fine. And be paid millions and millions of dollars. Don't worry. You're going to get some insider trading. You can go ahead and trade, do things like that. So at some point, all of America has to go, these people are crooks. Okay. So here's how do you fix it? Here's how you fix it. Fire everybody. Start over.
Hockey change.
Right? Then laws. It doesn't matter. I would be willing to give up my letter. Everybody, get rid of them. Can't come back.
Right.
Can't come back. If you're willing to give up your letter and say,
forfeit.
Can't come back.
What's in Scrabble when you just change all of your letters?
And if you're of retirement age, you can't play.
You see the meme where it says 55, 60 is the age where we consider people unable to work in the work world. However, that's unanimously the ages of everyone who's running our country.
Everyone. Looks like snow-capped mountains. Maybe that's what they were talking about. All the white hairs. We do that now, though. There's a 20% approval rate, but they vote back in over. Yeah, exactly. Right? So here's the deal. There is systemic racism. There is systemic poverty. There is systemic everything in the United States of America. Until you fix the system, you're going to continue to have it. Right? And how do you fix this? You get people like this lady who calls that out and goes, not good. You get other people who say, thanks for putting that out there. Because any publicity is good publicity.
Right.
Okay. And then you'll get people that'll go, well, let me stick if I don't mention it. Okay. So one of the greatest platforms that anyone stands on is, hey, let me show you this clip from Morgan Freeman. If we don't talk about it. So I'm not going to talk about it because Morgan Freeman said, if you don't talk about it, it doesn't exist, right?
I got sent the Morgan Freeman thing 18 times.
Oh, yeah.
That was ridiculous.
Hey, if I don't tell you you got cancer,
you don't have
you ain't got cancer.
Why would you get treatment?
Well, listen, it doesn't look good for you, Phil, but I'm not going to say the C word because if I don't talk about it, you ain't got it. Now, you're going to be pissing through your butthole for the next 5 months if you make it that long, and you'll have open sores and vomit every time that you take a breath. But I'm not going to say that you have cancer.
But
because if I don't say it, you ain't got it.
And never mind that millions of you say otherwise. Morgan Freeman agrees with me.
God love the man.
And then now we're going to have all of our white friends say how wise he is.
He did play God in a Jim Carrey movie.
So he's all knowing, apparently.
Yeah.
So I'm only going to touch on the Brett Favre thing in the aspect of as far as...
Yeah, I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, so as far as looking into the problem, and I know we got in the last 5 minutes, so I'll be quick about it. So what happened was he was connected to people that was supposed to add to a charity in Mississippi. So Shannon Sharp is
Yeah.
eating Brett Favre alive because Mississippi is the poorest state in the country.
Right.
So you're supposed to be donating money to the kids, and there's text messages revealed, and Brett Favre says, "Hey, if we do this, is there anything to get traced back to me? No, I got this. I got a guy on the inside. Okay, I just want to get verified before I okayed it. Millions of dollars that were supposed to be allocated to these kids. He just did his thing with his buddies." And what Shannon Sharp said, so not even that part, because I don't know if reject rundowns or if you want to do another show about that. What Shannon Sharp said was, if it was a black person with the EBT card that got $400, they would go after him tooth and nail.
Absolutely.
But it's Brett Favre. He said, and I heard people talk about Brett Favre's Hall of Fame. Not one time they mentioned him stealing millions of dollars for kids in Mississippi.
Yeah.
They just talked about his rushing yards. However, Terrell Owens, had that been him, Michael Vick, had that been him.
It was Michael Vick.
Right. But then it doesn't matter the yard. I OJ, but like
Right.
the yards don't matter. The crime does. And he said, even with them going up, they know. No one's even pursuing it.
Yeah, that's
So it's known that we stole from this university, whatever, our school, and millions, not hundreds, not hundreds of thousands, millions. And it's like, well, if he ends up in shackles, cool. If not, I got to sign Packers jersey.
But
if you kill a dude that's kidnapping
we can raid a rapper's house.
And that's where the RICO law is against thugs, but not against officers or politicians or like athletes who steal millions of dollars from kids.
So at some point is what I'm saying to all of our listeners out there. First, thanks. I absolutely love all you following 21-6 and that. Doesn't matter who you are, what side you're on. At some point, doesn't a light have to come on and go, this is all fucked up? I do love America. When I see the red, white, and blue, I'm proud. We had Olympians in here.
Nice.
I am proud to say that I love America.
Right.
But at the same time, at what point as an American do we go, this is all just crap? This is wrong. Everything,
Right.
And because listen, I support free enterprise. I support capitalism. But at some point, you got to go look at other countries that get along,
Right.
and don't need the Escalades and the 25,000 square foot homes. You know what I mean?
I didn't know the Shaq's was 76,000.
76,000 square.
He was on Ellen. He said the only two I use is the kitchen and the bedroom.
But again, now he's a big man. So,
That's a big dude.
I mean,
For him, that's probably like a 15,000.
Right. Yeah, Sal says, hey, remember, Phil, not only Packers, but Jets and Vikings and doing that. Nice.
Vic's got what, the Falcons, the Eagles, and another? I'm with you.
Is that a dead mouse? That's it. Hey, there'll be so many celebrities who got millions for the PPP
loans. You should check what the politicians got.
Yeah. So listen, there's always a tipping point,
right?
And I don't think it's going to be another civil war. Okay, no. I just don't. But at some point, I think everybody will start banding together, going, we need to do something with the system because the system's broken. Right. And once we realize that we outnumber the system, that's where, and I'm not suggesting by any means that you run in and tear up a Capitol or use violence at all
and open their mail.
Right.
Don't do that.
I'm just saying there's a way to do it correctly and there's a way to do it without.
Same thing we were told. With looting solves nothing, guys.
Right.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Listen, if you don't agree with it, doesn't matter whether it's your mom, your dad, your wife, your kids, your boss. If they're saying something that doesn't fit right with you and your morals and your views, you have to say something. Right. If you're in a public space and you're a public servant and you see something maybe in a different state or across county line, whatever the case may be, and you don't believe in what they're doing as they're representing your team, you have to stand up and do something about it. Being silent, and I go back to it. If you, as a boss, as a business owner, if you don't address it, you bless it.
Right.
So by being silent and doing nothing to what this lady said, you're blessing it. By us bringing it up on this show, we're not. We're saying it's wrong. We're saying we don't agree with it, and we're saying it has to change.
So if you're out and about at a gathering of friends, bonfires, outings, company events, and you hear jokes, slanders, banter, degrading, or just spewing out hate, speak up, put an end to it.
Put an end to it. Put your foot down.
Stop.
Stop it. Listen, come back in about an hour for Mary Shep and Living Low Sodium. Can't thank you guys enough for jumping on the bridge with us. Until then, we'll see it. Be good to each other.
Love you guys.